Hi, everybody. Bill De La Cruz, the Origination Point podcast. I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on some strategies from talking about blind spots and mirroring. Before I do that, though, I want to talk about why I do this. And I have to tell you my own story, a little bit of it, to be able to do that. So, when I started doing my work, this work of personal growth and increasing self awareness and understanding why the heck my life was so screwed up, I would listen to people like me, or I would go to a workshop, or I would read a book, and they would all say, just do the work. And I would say to myself, I would love to do the work. My life is really screwed up. I'm not sure what to do. Can you please tell me what the work is? And no one ever really told me. And in my head, I wondered, are you actually doing the work, or are you just selling a program and telling me to do the work that you never do? And I never really got an answer for that. So I'm not sure whether they were doing the work or not. And so I made a vow that as I stepped into this journey of what I'll just call the personal change process, that as I unfolded strategies and tactics that worked to facilitate change in my human being, that I would share them and say, here's the steps. And the only caveat in that is that what I'm sharing you are steps that worked for me. I don't know how well they'll work for you. I do know you'll accomplish nothing if you do nothing. And so, from that perspective, you really have nothing to lose and everything to gain, because if they work for you, then whatever it is that you want, you can attract, because I've done it. And so my sole purpose in doing this is to add value to your life. I'm never going to sell you anything. I'm never going to force you or make you or judge you or in any way approach this from the perspective of, I know it all, and if you just do this, you will be saved. No one can do that for another human being. What I will do is give you some steps and strategies and practices and tell you this: if you take them on and you practice them consistently, you will see changes. And you have to decide what those changes look like, because for every one of you, the outcomes are going to be different. And the hurdles and the walls you have to break down and the patterns you have to change are all unique to each one of you. What I will tell you, though, is I will maintain my role as a resource and support for this journey that you're on. If you have questions, reach out, send us an email, ask your question. If you need support, let us know. I'm happy to put together a live webinar, Zoom community gathering of people who want to talk about your challenges and your successes. Because there's a lot of wisdom in people coming together. And I want you to know that what I'm offering you is not just one and done, or here you go, good luck. My why is to make the world a more humane place. And my gosh, could our world use more humanity today? Could our country use more humanity today? And so I'm in this for the long haul. And I'm in this to support you in any way that I can. So I wanted to start with that because I really want you to understand the purpose of why I do this. And it's rooted in my desire to support people in having less conflict, more self-awareness, less craziness, more groundedness, and basically whatever you want to achieve your goals. So again, questions, comments, thoughts, please reach out to us. It's the only way I know that we're heading in the right direction. And I would really love to hear your questions about something that you tried and maybe didn't work, or something that you want to know more of. So here we go. We're going to start today. So if you've been following our podcasts, we talked about journaling and the importance of journaling. And I have a few journals. They're all around me. Here's one over here. And I have another one in this drawer right here. I have one in my living room. And I just take notes and write things down. And I start the morning with gratitude, and I write down 8 or 10 things that I'm grateful for. Some as simple as I'm grateful that I'm able to stand up and be able to write in my journal. I'm grateful that I have a loving family. I'm grateful that I do work that I love. Being thankful is really important. Even if you don't have exactly what you want, being thankful for what you have is a great strategy. It tells the universe that you are okay where you are. Even if you don't have, you finish that sentence, if you don't have it yet. Being grateful and thankful is not about so much what you've achieved. It's also about being thankful for where you are. And that's a strategy. Because if I say I'm only thankful if I have $1 million, then I'm not being present, because I'm not grounded in the reality of where my life is today. And I want to be thankful for where I am, because I know that when I do achieve my monetary gains, when I do achieve my professional gains, my relationship gains, I'll know that they're real, because they weren't just some fantasy that I dreamed up. They are rooted in a groundedness. So that's the importance of journaling. Today, I want to get a little bit into this idea of attraction and mirroring, because I did a podcast a number of months ago about mirroring, and that we attract that which we experience. And when we attract negativity, or we attract, let me back up a minute. Our mindset drives everything. So if I have a negative mindset, which I had when I was in my 20s, in my teens, I had a very negative mindset. I was very angry. I was very hurtful. I was very egotistical. I was very arrogant. And I attracted people just like that. I didn't have many friends. Not many people trusted me. And most of the people that I attracted were mean just like me. And I could easily demean them and say how jerky they were, how mean they were, how stupid they were, without ever thinking that, oh, I'm exactly like them. And that's why they're in my life. Because I didn't want to see myself as they were. I wanted to imagine that I was something different, that I was evolved, that I was open, that I was loving and kind. And in reality, I was just a mean jerk. And that's where the self-awareness piece comes in. Being aware of the impacts of your present demeanor, your present way of being, and not sugarcoating it, and not acting like you're something more than you are. When I was a teenager, I was just a mean, hurt young man. And then I hurt and was mean to other people. And then the people that I attracted were hurtful and mean people. Self-awareness is the first step. Critical self-reflection is the next step. Critical self-reflection is the ability to break down what it is that you're seeing in yourself, how you're talking, how you're treating people, without sugarcoating it and without justifying or rationalizing it, and just saying, this is who I am and this is the impact I'm having on other people. And those are two pieces of this growth puzzle that you have to continue to hone and get really sharp with for the rest of your life. It never goes away. Self-awareness, I'm aware that I just did, said, or treated somebody in a certain way. Critical self-reflection, why did I do that? if you can use those two strategies and you can use them consciously, then you will start to see patterns of behavior, patterns of language. And then as you journal those patterns, then you can start to see, what is it that I need to heal and understand? What is it that emotionally triggers me when I'm interacting with somebody else? And remember, an emotional trigger is I'm interacting with somebody, and all of a sudden I get really emotional and I get triggered. And it's easy to blame them and say the reason I'm triggered is because you said something or you did something. The reality is, though, when I'm emotionally triggered, it's about my stuff. It's about me totally. And I can either attack the stimulus, the other person, or I can own the trigger and do my best to heal myself. And when I first started doing this work, people, well, not people, I would ask, well, where do I go? How do I see this? And so as I started to do my work, I got these props, and one of them is this, the mirror. So the first thing that we have to do when we're in an interaction with somebody, especially if it doesn't go well, is look in the mirror, because that's where the answer is. The mirror is the first place to look, because when we look in the mirror, we're reflecting ourselves. And our reflection is being put out into every interaction that we have. And if my reflection, as it was as a teenager, was mean, hurtful, arrogant, egotistical, and rude, then that's what I am going to reflect. And that's what I did reflect. Today, the reflection that I want to have is someone who is self-aware, self-critical, and able to support others. Then that will be reflected. And so now the people that I draw into my life are more like-minded people. They're not exactly like me, and they're not evolved. I'm not even saying I'm evolved. I'm still working on a lot of parts of myself. So it's not about getting there. It's about being aware of the steps that you're taking every single day. So this mirror needs to become your friend. And when you have a negative interaction, whether it's with a family member, somebody you love, somebody at the grocery store, somebody you work with, the first thing to do is to go home and pull this mirror up and look at it and ask yourself, how did I show up today? How did I treat that person that I just interacted with? Because I guarantee you, if you felt like something was up, then you're probably right. If you felt like this didn't feel good for whatever reason, then you probably did something. And owning it without judgment means that you can look at it from a perspective of growth. And that's where you go to your journal and you just stream of consciousness, free write for 3 or 4 minutes and explore all your interactions of the day. And honestly, look at what role did you play in all of those interactions. Some of them may have gone just great, just how you wanted it. It's important to acknowledge that too. It's not saying that every interaction that you have is going to be crappy or that you're going to find out, like me, that you're arrogant or rude or mean. There were some, maybe a handful in my teenage years that went well. I was probably unconscious of them because I had no self-awareness. So I want you to think about the balance, not just looking at what didn't go well. What did you do that connected you to this other person? What did you say? And then journal all of those things, because ultimately what we're doing in this process with these changes is we're creating these daily practices. And what a daily practice is, it's a new behavior, it's a new language that you do for a short amount of time with hyper awareness. So becoming really aware of changing a narrative. my narrative was I'll never be successful. That that dragged me down so deep that there were days where I couldn't even function. So that narrative that I'd never be successful caused me to second guess myself, some days not even go out of the house, not try new things. Today, that new narrative is I can accomplish anything I want. And at first, I didn't believe it until I started to see it happening. And so, whatever you want to shift starts with self awareness, move into critical self reflection, look in the mirror, and then journal and see what you find. Take those 4 steps. And what you're doing is you're still in the awareness phase. So that's awareness, action, accountability, and sustainability. So this first step is awareness. You're creating awareness about who you are, how you show up, and how you interact with others. And you're still taking action steps. It's just different than as you grow, we'll go deeper into what those action steps are. Self-awareness, critical self-reflection, mirroring, journaling. Take those 4 steps. Reach out to me, shoot me an email, tell me how they worked, tell me how they didn't work, and please ask questions. My goal is to serve you. And I mean that. And so let me know what your interests are. If you want to get together with 10 other people across the country and have a conversation about what other people are facing to know that you're not alone, let me know. I'm happy to put that together. And for everyone who reaches out to me through our website and sends me a question or a thought or lets me know how you've done, I will send you an e-copy of my book, Finding the Origination Point, Understanding Our Biases to Create a More Peaceful World. So if that sounds interesting to you, reach out, ask a question, share a thought, and I look forward to continuing this journey with you. Have a blessed day, and remember, keep growing and take good care of yourself.